Yo, what's going on? It's Slider Barber here, aka Slice Fire Cuts, aka the Firefighter Barber. Today I'm doing a tutorial on a ball fade on my son with a crispy lineup. Won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. What's going on? It's Slider Barber. Man, I hope everybody New Year is off to a great start. So in this tutorial, I'm going over a ball fade with a crispy lineup. I'm gonna be going over the steps of how I do my ball fade and the process of what I do to prep the hairline and get them crispy lineups that I do. Also, I'll be posting a video on my 5 tips to a crispy lineup. Stay tuned for that video coming soon. So right here, I start this haircut off with a 1/8 guard on my Andes Masters cordless. And I'm going in and I'm just getting the desired length. We're going to take the hair down with the clipper fully closed. Just making sure that we're using even strokes. I got my comb in my hand always and making sure that I'm getting even strokes with my clipper going all the way through. Being careful to watch the cowlick on the front of his head. I like to start from the crown area and work my way towards the front in the pattern that the hair grows. So right here, I'm establishing my first guideline. I'm not a fan of using my trimmers to make a hard guideline in the head. I know a lot of barbers out there like to do that, to each his own. But I'm gonna come in with my clipper completely closed. I do have these Masters zero gap, so I'm able to get a very clean bald line to start this process with this first guideline right here. Then right here, I come in with my cordless Andes T-outliner, and I'm just getting the rest of the hair that the Andes Masters wasn't able to get and really giving that clean bald effect. I want every step to this process to be clean and efficient, making sure that this haircut is done right and I don't have to go back and do any unnecessary steps. And for the final touch to this step of the process, I just come in with my Andes foil shaver and just clean out the rest of that hair. If you're not used to using this tool, this can be tricky because it also can create another guideline, and we don't want that. We just want to come up and I use a downward motion or going with the grain. Right here is where I kick in the second gear of this haircut. I really love the Andes Masters for the notches that they have on the side with their lever. That lets you give a precise cut and let you know what level of haircut you're going to be doing and what part of the fade you're at. So right here, I got the lever completely open with the long teeth and a long blade with this fade blade here on these Andes Masters. And I'm just going in and I'm going up about 1 inch and just making my strokes consistent. Again, I got my brush in my hand. You always want to have a tool in your hand other than your clippers. And I'm just making even strokes. And this part is important. You want to make sure that you're parallel to your first guideline. There's nothing worse than having an uneven hairline or fade on one side of the head and then it's up or higher or lower on the other side of the head. And doing this step right here shouldn't take you much effort. Again, you're letting the machine do the work. I'm not digging hard. It's not really a flick out motion too much at this point. I just want to establish that second guideline so I can really see the transition and really get this fade booming. So in my opinion, this is where I feel like the work starts. Putting in the guidelines is a serious step to the process. But I feel like the fading is where your wrist action is going to come in and where your technique really comes into play. So right here, I'm closing my lever about halfway and I'm really going to start working that first guideline that I put in. We're going to start to erase that line. So I'm just coming in with a flick out motion and just barely tapping that line just to start to see the line start to erase. At this point, you're going to play with the lever. I may have to bump it some closed. I may have to bump it open some just to get that effect depending on how much hair is cutting at the time. But again, I'm staying consistent, using even strokes, brushing, stroke a few more times, brush it, and just making sure that I'm getting every hair possible to make that transition pop. Now that I've got most of that first guideline out, now I'm using my purple Andes magnetic guards, the 1/16 guard, and I got it about halfway closed. And what I'm doing is I'm going to start attacking this second guideline. At this point, I do not want to create any more guidelines. Why would I make more stress and more work in this haircut that needs to be done? I've made my 2 guidelines, and right here I'm just going to get ready to erase the second guideline that I've made and blend it into the desired length that we had on top. This is where the flick out motion still comes into play. Again, I'm playing with the lever. Might have to open it a little, might have to close it a little, just to make sure seeing how much the hair or the clipper is actually cutting. And if you never heard a barber say he got a favorite guard, you hearing it now. I love the 1/16 guard. I feel like it's the connection piece between that desired length on top and that skin fade at the bottom. I feel like it brings it all together, and you can see that line is just slowly starting to erase and clear itself, and we're starting to get a really good transition in this fade. Again, you gotta use different levels of the lever. I might have it open, I might have it halfway closed, I might have it fully closed. I'm using the corner of the teeth. I'm doing whatever I gotta do to make sure, one, that I'm not creating another guideline. Two, I'm extending the transition in this fade so I'm not having a stingy fade. And three, just wanting to stay consistent with it so that you can really see it pop. Detailed work. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm trying to tell y'all, advanced barbers, beginner barbers, people thinking about being a barber, if you're not taking the extra steps to practice and perfect your craft, you only going to leave yourself as a mediocre person. And that's with anything. That's in any profession that you do. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're a basketball player and you only shooting 100 shots when there's a bunch of other people that's shooting 500, 1,000 shots, 5,000 shots, why be mediocre? You gotta take the steps and take the details serious. Me, I'm coming in right here. I got my lever completely open, and I'm just coming back and hitting any remnants in that line that I may have left that the 1/16 guard didn't get, and I may have to open it and may have to close it. But this step is important. One, the client is going to appreciate it if you took the time to be able to perfect that fade. Two, you're going to give yourself the confidence. You're going to make yourself feel better that, man, I really take pride in every haircut that I do, and I took the time to get these details and clean up every spot. Right here, I got my 3/16 guard on, and this guard is important. This step is important in the process because this can take out some of that weight that may have been pushed up from the desired length in your second guideline. I see a lot of barbers that will leave this step or forget to do this step, and sitting in the chair, your eyes get accustomed to watching the head and looking at the fade, and when the client gets up out the chair when you think you're done and they walk across the room, and you notice that, man, I left a little bit of a weight line at the top of the head, that 3/16 guard is going to get that and help that transition and ensures that it has a better blend from the desired length to the rest of the fade process. So thus far in this video, I've done one side of the head and showed you my steps to a bald fade. But right here on this side of the head, I'm going to do exactly the same steps that I've done on the other side. And for video purposes, I'm going to speed up the process. And I'm going to let this beat rock. And y'all can just kind of watch the steps as I speed up the process. And make sure you stay to the end of this video. The final result is going to blow your mind. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I got a lot of content to put out on this page, and I'm going to make sure I bring y'all nothing but heat and nothing but information that y'all can use to help better yourselves and further yourselves in this barber career. When it comes to the shape up, there's a million and one different ways to do it and how you can attack it. I tell a lot of barbers, find a way that works for you that's going to give you the most crispy line that you can do, and the way that you can envision and see the line before you actually start putting the clipper on the client's head. For me, it just depends on the client. Sometimes I start in the middle of the head and pick a side and go to that side. Sometimes I start with my lateral bars and I'll just kind of start there and work my way up the L shape. But on my son right here, I started in the middle and I worked the one side and then I worked the corner. We know it's a cardinal rule not to push your client back to the darkest part of the hair to try to make the lineup look crispy. You don't need to do that. If you prep the hairline right and make sure you clean the forehead and get all the oil and debris off the forehead, and then come in with your liners and go ahead and tap that line and keep it very natural, you can get a clean, crispy line without pushing the client back, setting them up for several days later when that hair starts growing back and they get that new growth in the area. And you already know that Tune 45 no drip color enhancement. Whew. Sheesh. I'm telling you, man, it's everything. It's a straight game changer. Like I said, my client was done. He can get out the chair right now and go home and be satisfied. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with that drip and go ahead and give him that enhancement just for the video purposes, just to show y'all that there's more to barbering. You can do a lot more with it, and we doing a whole lot, man. Shout out to Tune 45. Shout out to Get Beam and them boys over there. Very innovative. Came up with a product. Love it, man. Also, make sure I'm getting ready to drop a video with my tips to using color enhancement. Basically, the correct way to use it, the amount, the dosage, type of different products, the air compressors, everything you need to know about color enhancements. So make sure you stay tuned and check out that video coming soon. So right now at this point, I'm just going dumb with the clippers. So right here, I just dig deep in the bag and pull out my Babyliss FX Golds, man. And I'm just tapping the line even more. Soft touch, man. I'm telling you, putting the final touches on it. Y'all see, my Andes TI liners already got it. I came in with that. Then came in with the color enhancement, enhanced it even more. Put the half moon part in there. Now I come in with the Babyliss, and I'm just showing out at this point, man. Y'all gotta love it, man. It's endless to what you can do in this barber game. It's crazy. I watch so many tutorials. I look at so many reviews on people, man. It's like, yo, you can just keep going. It's crazy. So right here, I'm just tapping the line again, perfecting it. You know what I'm saying? My son got school tomorrow. Why not send him out there and send him out there fresh? I also tell beginner barbers, take a second and take a step back and kind of look at what direction your hairline is going. You don't want to stay too tight up on your client and just start lining them up and going away and then not noticing that your hairline is drifting in one direction. If you take a second, just take a step back and look and say, okay, I need to maybe stay straight, drop down a little bit, go up a little bit, and just ensure that you're staying adequate and staying in symmetry on that line. And don't think I forgot, man. Like my instructor told me, man, you know what I'm saying, you're going to always get that line. I'm always going to pull out the razor. I tell all my beginner barbers, I understand, it's a straight razor. You got to build the confidence up with it, and you got to get used to using it. But look, you're going to have to get on it sometime. Because that straight razor, again, this goes back to detail work that I'm talking about. This goes back to the possibilities that you can do and the endless possibilities that you can do with barbering. Again, the lineup was done, but I'm coming in, I'm going to perfect that. I'm going to get all them hairs up there. I want that shape up to last as long as possible. I'm stretching the skin right here, making sure I'm getting a good tug, and I'm just doing just little short strokes just to get that hair away from that hairline. I'm bringing everything back to the hairline. Man, details, details, details. If you don't take nothing else from this video, man, it's details. Trust the process. First, get knowledgeable on what you're trying to do. Learn how to fade, learn how to line up. Pay attention to the details, man. If you just do that, I guarantee you, you're going to grow in this business. You're going to grow in this industry, man. And that's what it's going to be. So y'all look, this is the final cut right here, man. I hope that's something that y'all can use useful and put in your tool bag, man, and rock on. We ain't trying to invent the wheel, but I'm just trying to show y'all that look, it's different things that you can do, and you can take, you know what I'm saying, the haircut that you started with from a blank canvas and turn it into something like this. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, the Firefighter Barber /Fire Cuts. Look me up on Facebook, Sly Brooks, and we out.